megahertz CPU or a 1 gigahertz CPU. You could put a GPS or not put a GPS. You could put a lot of memory or very little memory. What is the end result for the user? They pick up the phone, things that were designed for a certain expectation, because, you know, there is a Moore's law, it works. You expect people to put not the latest and greatest, but a good balance of bill of material and performance, and you get shitty performance. You get drivers that are unstable, because you, as a company, we cannot develop all the drivers for everybody in the industry. There is so much diversity in that. So one thing that we define is this thing called the chassis. And the chassis actually is a minimum bar that handset vendors will need to have in order to get that platform on their phones. And that minimum bar represents a very engaging and very powerful platform from a user experience point of view. Now, one of the things we have done as part of that is actually work very closely with the component manufacturers at the firmware level to make sure that the experience is going to be completely streamlined in the most important scenarios. And one example that I'll give you, location, is very important. You can get location from 3 different sources, from a GPS, Wi-Fi, and cellular tower by crossing cellular tower locations. There is a ton of work that happens in the chassis that we have defined for Windows Phone to enable the fastest performance for location-based scenarios, because we think it's important. The other thing that comes out of a strategy like this is that we are going to do the drivers for that chassis. So you can count on the performance and the stability and the quality that you will get in these phones. Now, there is a ton of value add that people can add, and that's the last slide that I want to focus on. So from the end user perspective, we think that what will come out of it is a completely new user experience. And we are hearing from both the handset vendors and the telecom operators that they are hungry for something that's different. Something that is not just a bunch of icons on the home screen. Something that is really reflective of this convergence that I mentioned earlier. And when you see this experience, you'll be able to appreciate what I'm talking about, because it is a completely different experience than everything else that you've seen. You'll see this seamless world that I've talked about in this experience. People will be able to relate to it, because that's where the world is headed. That's where the industry is headed. And they are going to be able to buy more than just one phone. That's the end user perspective. From the operator perspective, one of the things that we have done is to make sure that the experiences don't just start and end in the device. There isn't anymore an experience that ends in the edge device. Every experience around us has a service and cloud component. There are service and cloud components all over Microsoft. Xbox Live is one, Zoom is another, Zoom Marketplace is another, Live is a third one, and so on and so forth. When you get this platform, it's going to be fully integrated with those type of cloud experiences. Another thing that we're doing is integrating that cloud with the operator's cloud. The operators have very unique characteristics in their networks. And I'm very proud that a big part of this work is done here in Israel. Now think about the multiplier effect from the operator's point of view of being able to connect those clouds in a very intimate way and delivering unique value add as a result of that. So that's from those operators' point of view. One actually interesting aspect of that connection, that integration, is very simple. We call it operator billing, also done here in Israel. Why would I use a credit card? From the end user, it's way more secure and way simpler to just say, I want this. You get the bill at the end of the month, it's there, it's listed, everything is cool. From the operator's point of view, that's more stickiness. The relations, the customer customer relation stays with them. So it's a win-win. From the handset manufacturers, I think this platform will allow them faster time to market. They are going to get a much more complete set of software and tools than they have anywhere else right now in the industry. And we think it's a huge benefit for them. And lastly, from the ISV's point of view, I already mentioned that it's the access to the broadest set of consumers, customers, because it's not just about the mobile screen. So we're going to have a show next week. I encourage you to go and start with the Microsoft event. I don't know if it's open to everybody, but there is a very significant event, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy what is going to be discussed in that event. If you haven't been to that event, make sure you pass by the booth or by our partner's booth, because there are going to be interesting things to see. And the last thing, for those of you who are developing applications, mid-March, Las Vegas, write down the dates. That's where you're going to get educated about how you can actually take all of those great things that I talked about and bring them to life. I hope you'll have a very productive day today. Thank you again for coming. Wish us all a lot of luck.